What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, juicy, saucy, amazing Alabama white chicken on a pellet grill. Coming up. This is a chicken. Pat it dry. And what I got here is a whole chicken weighing in right around 5 pounds. And I always find it handy to have a bowl nearby when you're opening these things because there's always a lot of liquid in that packaging. But you could use whatever cut of chicken you like. You know, you could get just the wings, you could get a half bird, you could get some leg quarters, anything will work. And that's because today we're making a classic Alabama white sauce chicken, which is something I have not made in quite a long time, but I'm pretty excited because it's super tasty and it's really easy to do. And I know it may sound weird covering your chicken in essentially mayonnaise, but it really does work out quite well, keeping everything nice and flavorful and juicy. And it's a really nice, acidic, very unique sauce that you gotta check out if you haven't had it before. And today we've got a whole chicken, but I am gonna spatchcock it by removing this spine so it lays a little bit flatter, which is I'm pretty sure how they do it down at Big Bob Gibson's over in Alabama, or maybe it's half chickens, not quite sure. But either way to do that is super simple. Grab yourself some kitchen shears, find the tail, and just go right down on either side, crunching through the little rib bones. Very easy to do. Just like that, spine comes right out. Save that for your chicken stock. And then this should open right up and lay nice and flat. We're gonna go ahead and tuck these wing tips back for a nice presentation. Because if you don't, these wings are gonna sit on the breast meat so the skin doesn't get smoke or rub, and also doesn't get nice and crispy. So take this and fold it right on back there. Pull these legs out, and if you wanted to, you could give it a little crack there so it lays even flatter. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when I see people cooking spatchcock chickens, sometimes they'll put their legs up like this. And again, that looks really stupid. And also, all this skin under here won't be exposed to rub, heat, and smoke, nor get crispy. But that is a perfect looking spatchcock chicken to me. If there's anything hanging off, we can trim it up a little bit if we want. Keeping an eye out for feathers. A little chunk of fat on the back, we'll take that off. But other than that, this is looking pretty good. And my rub of choice today is some Chuds BBQ poultry rub, designed specifically for chickens, but honestly goes great on everything. Great on veggies or seafood. And we're just gonna get a nice healthy coating all over this thing. Most of our rubs are relatively low sodium. That way you can go on with a nice healthy amount. So you get a lot of flavor, but also it makes it a lot harder to over season these things. All the little nooks and crannies. Beautiful. Go ahead and flip that over. And we'll do the same to the top side. Love the color of this stuff. Smells good already. And we're gonna do our best to not forget the sides, because that'd be a rookie move. And that is looking pretty much perfect to me. Good even coverage on that. A little hard on the sides here, wants to roll off. But we're gonna let this hang out for maybe 10 minutes or so. Let the salt kind of work on the meat. That way the rub adheres nicely, which gives us plenty of time to fire up the pit. Boop. And on the pit we go. Got this pit fired up to 275 degrees, which means we're rocking about 325 degrees on the top rack over here. I'm gonna aim a little bit more to the right so the legs are kind of in the hot spot by the damper over here. And it should be a pretty quick cook with this nice hot and fast heat. I'm gonna stick a foil pan under here just to help with cleanup. Very convenient. Going in with some Smokin pecan shell pellets, per usual, because they're super tasty and super smoky, and they're made with actual pecan shells, not pecan wood, which seems weird. But I was talking to the owner of the company, and he was telling me that pecan shells have a similar makeup as wood, with the lignins and the pectins and cellulose and other things that I don't know because I'm not a scientist. But what I do know is that they're super smoky, they burn really well, and the flavor is great, so highly recommend it. And I've got a link down below if you want to save 10% off your first order. But like I said, we're rocking that pit at 275 degrees, which means on that top rack it's closer to 325, which is where I like to cook chicken on any pit. If I was on the offset, I'd keep it right up close at the throat, running this pit around 300, 325. Same on the Chud box, right around 300. That way it cooks relatively quickly and the skin will get nice and crispy. So it shouldn't be that long of a cook. But we're gonna let that smoke roll and check back in a little bit. This video is brought to you by Cafe Casino. Cafe Casino is a great place to kill some time, whether you're waiting for a brisket to cook or your sausage to cure, because they've got a bunch of free-to-play online games. I know for me personally, whenever I'm editing a video, I like to break up the monotony by heading over to Cafe Casino and trying to build that pesky burger that I can never seem to get put together correctly. They've also got a bunch of recipes. Hey, I know that guy. Ooh, grilled brie. That sounds good. I should probably try and make that. With all the instructions and ingredients that you'd expect. So if you're looking to unwind at the end of a long day or kill some time playing some free online games, be sure to check out Cafe Casino using my link in the description box of this video. And while that chicken cooks away, let's go ahead and get our Alabama white sauce made up. Starting going into a bowl with a whole bunch of mayonnaise, some apple cider vinegar, a little bit of hot sauce, a touch of Worcestershire sauce, some granulated garlic, some freshly cracked black pepper, a nice big fat pinch of salt, some prepared horseradish, if that's what you're feeling like, as well as some lemon juice. And get that all mixed up. Just gave that a little taste. I already added a pinch of salt, but we're gonna go in with a little more black pepper because I want this to be pretty peppery. And I'm also gonna go in with a shot of Dijon. Oops. But really, it's a simple sauce and kind of taste and adjust to how you like it. If you want more horseradish or no horseradish, you can do that. But it should be a nice, rich, tangy sauce. And just like that, our super simple Alabama white sauce is done. We're about an hour and a half into this cook, and let's check in on this bird, shall we? Looking very nice, golden brown. Looks like it's cooking pretty evenly, which is a good thing. All that rub is definitely tacked on there. It's a good looking chicken. Bust out the old Thermopen. We're rocking 142 in the thickest part of the breast. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start spraying it down with some sprayable duck fat. This stuff is perfect for cooking chickens like this, where you wanna get that skin extra crispy and extra flavorful. If you haven't tried this stuff, head over to our website. We sell it online. And I'm gonna just come and spray this probably a couple times over the next little bit while we get up to that 160-ish range. It's gonna help make the skin super tasty, as well as all the convective air in there will hit this extra oil, getting that skin nice and crispy. But it's already looking even better. So we're gonna let this keep going for another probably half hour or so, spraying periodically until it's time to pull it off. And just like that, I have given my pit a nice little clean down, and it's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes on this chicken, and I'm pretty sure it is done. Looking absolutely beautiful, nice and golden brown. Love the color on that. Do a little temp check here. 180 in the thigh and 160 in the breast, which is perfect. That's what I love about a spatchcock chicken. They always cook up so nicely because we want these to be a little hotter because of all the dark meat and the extra fat, but we don't want to overcook the breast. And it always seems to work out great, so very convenient. And I will say, I am loving how this is looking. Nice and juicy, golden brown, and perfectly seasoned. So off the pit it comes. And straight off the pit, this is where we dunk it into the white sauce, except my bowl isn't quite big enough, so I'm gonna do it on the sheet tray here. Quick look at that underside, looking good all over. I'm just gonna pour this all over this thing. Ooh, oops. Ooh, that thickened up over the last little bit. Probably should have just used a brush, but authentically, this is just dunked in the sauce. Swish it around, get that underside covered. And now while we let this rest, all that sauce will kind of heat up and melt and thin out a little bit. We should be left with some beautifully glazed Alabama white chicken. Ooh, yeah. Oops. Full coverage. So I'm gonna let this cool down for the next 10-20 minutes, and then we'll slice on in. And there it is, folks. After a nice rest down, you can see that sauce kind of clinging to the meat, much like a barbecue sauce, but white. And it smells really good, so let's go ahead and carve this up. That's the beautiful thing about a spatchcock chicken, folks. Super easy to carve up. Just go right between there, just a little skin holding it together for one free leg. Same thing on this side. Ooh, looking juicy already. Kind of try and find that wing joint. Free the wing. Same on this side. Beautiful looking juicy wing. Cut this breastbone right in the middle. And there you have a nice juicy looking, except for the bones right there, but meat is looking nice and juicy all the way cooked through. Happy about that. We go ahead and cut these in half for some more manageable sized pieces. And there you have it, some pellet grill, beautiful, juicy Alabama white chicken. Go ahead and cut these drums off as well. Go ahead and pull the bones off that breast piece. Feeling incredibly tender though. I know it's hard to see juicy white meat on camera, but feels incredibly tender. Definitely a messy meal, but I'm here for it. Let's give it a taste. I think I'm gonna start out with this incredibly juicy looking breast piece. Look at that, it wants to fall apart. That is so tender. Perfectly cooked. The beauty of pulling chicken breast off at like 155, 150 is that it'll carry over up to 165, so you know it's safe, but doesn't overcook it, so it's still nice and juicy. That's a chicken breast I could eat any day of the week. That sauce is just so flavorful. It seems pretty intense just on its own, but the way it cooks onto the chicken, it really adds so much flavor because, you know, chicken is a little on the bland side anyway, but that acidic punch really pairs well with the smoky flavor and that tender meat, and it's just so good. I don't know why I don't do this more often. It's pretty cool how it just kind of clings to the meat like that, you know. Should drip off, but it doesn't. Go for a little drumstick, shall we? Oh my God. It's so flavorful. Nice and herby, nice and fatty because of all the mayonnaise on there, but it does not taste like mayonnaise. It's weird. I'm gonna eat all of this. The texture is so thick, you know, it kind of reminds me of just taking a chicken wing and dipping it into ranch because it's so creamy and so flavorful, but doesn't taste like ranch. Although I wonder if anyone's ever done like a ranch barbecue chicken. Might have to give that one a try because that sounds kind of good. I'm just gonna keep going. Now, Brooke says she's not camera ready, but she still wants to try a piece.
Thank you.
Let us know what you think.
It's juicy.
It is juicy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that sauce.
Would you believe me if I told you it was like 90% pure mayonnaise?
Yes.
Really?
But in a good way.
It's tasty, right?
Yeah.
Nice and juicy.
Wow, the chicken's really juicy.
I really do love having this recipe in the back pocket because for a weeknight dinner or something, that was what, like a 2-hour cook, maybe a 30-minute rest. Probably could have done it quicker too, because it's not like we're really aiming for crispy skin when you're gonna smother it in sauce, but it's just a really different bite because it's still that classic saucy barbecue chicken, but completely different flavor profile, but still very satisfying. A little messy though. I will say though, if you did want to make this a little less messy, you could definitely thin that sauce out a little bit. So when you put it on the hot chicken, it would kind of roll off a little bit more, leaving a little less on there. Because last time I made it, there was not this much sauce that survived to stay on the bird. But really tasty, a little messy, but definitely ways around it. But before I go ahead and devour this entire chicken off camera, I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic, smoky, juicy, saucy Alabama white chicken on the pellet grill. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know, I'm sure you've had Alabama white chicken at some point along your barbecue journey, but if you haven't, this is definitely something worth checking out. Super easy recipe. I'm very impressed with how well that pellet cooker cooked a spatchcock chicken. That's definitely good to know for weeknight dinners. Gotta love a chicken cook when your breasts don't get overcooked and your legs don't get undercooked. Very convenient. And this is definitely a recipe I'll be keeping around for weeknight meals moving forward. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Team Chud members. Thank you for supporting this channel and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!